This pile of stuff is literally thousands of pounds worth of regrets. I mean, tech and photographic innovation. It's stuff I found recently I don't really use, and honestly, it just gets in the way. We buy things because we think they're going to solve a creative problem, or they're going to inspire us to get out and shoot more. A drawer full of shit you don't use isn't just clutter, it's decisions. And those choices that we have to make are stealing the mental energy that we should be putting into the things that are most important, like paying attention to what's around us. So I'm clearing it. This video is about the survivors. It's not about what camera you should use, it's about finding the right tools to support your photography. And if you want to know what I'd spend my money on instead of all this, I'll let you know at the end. Now I know from my experience and from speaking to others that it is really easy to convince yourself that you need something. But hopefully the stuff I say in this video will allow you to look at things differently. Some people will agree with the things I say, some people will disagree. Everyone's process, everyone's needs are different, but the stuff I share in this video is stuff that I use and therefore stuff that I trust. Before I get into the stuff that I love and use though, let me first talk about these bigger things I've bought that I probably regret. Now the first one is a small drone, a mini drone, some would say. This might be a bit of a surprise to people because drones are very popular with photographers and filmmakers and YouTubers. But what I find whenever I use my drone is that it's just a massive distraction. I don't like using it for photography because I'm looking at it through a drone, I don't feel connected to the scene. And whilst I'd love to use it more for filmmaking, I just realistically don't have time. So I just end up carrying it from place to place, wondering whether or not I should use it. And I've realised through my usage over the past year or two that it is just a drain on my creativity. And for that reason, it's going. Quickly going back to what I said about convincing yourself about needing things though, I've recently been watching videos by a YouTuber called Kyle Kotajavi. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. This guy is an insane storyteller. His visuals are off the charts and he uses a drone a lot for what he does. And I've watched his videos and thought, I want to do that. But realistically, I can't because I don't do the same sort of stuff as him. But that's how easy it is to convince yourself that you need something. The next thing is an iPad Pro, and I've actually even bought a keyboard to go with this. Thankfully, it's not the official Apple one, so I didn't waste too much money. I convinced myself that an iPad Pro would be a massive enabler for photo editing, for planning, for everything else. Realistically though, this thing weighs nearly as much as my MacBook, and my MacBook's massively more capable and I find it much easier to use. So I'm just more likely to use my laptop. Embarrassingly, it's probably used to watch videos more than anything else. I know I'm not alone in that. I think that's probably the main iPad used globally, I reckon. Another thing I bought a year ago, Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Absolutely great idea, great for behind the scenes, showing what I do. Two main flaws. One, they don't film horizontal, they only film vertical. So they're great for Instagram, rubbish for YouTube. And my priority is YouTube, so I can't really use them much for this. Second thing is they're just a distraction. When I'm out shooting, I've got to think, oh, well, I need to do this again so I can record it on the glasses. No, I don't want to do that. Cinema kit for my FX3 video camera that I'm filming with now. I bought that 18 months ago and I've used it once since. Total waste of money. Convinced myself I was going to make more documentary style stuff and I've probably done less of it, so yeah. And finally, this one might be more of a surprise, I'm considering getting rid of my A7R5, which is probably the most expensive thing in the list. Every year I look through my Lightroom catalogue and I look at what I shot all my photos on in the previous year. I look at the lenses, I look at the camera bodies, and I did this last year and I got rid of two of my main lenses, my 16-35 and my 70-200, based on the fact I'd just not used them much. I did the same thing this week. I think I took 10,500 photos this year and I used this for 2,500 of them. The daft thing is 2,200 of those were in the first 4 months of the year. So I think I used it for 300 images from May through to December, which doesn't warrant owning it. For my style of photography now, I'm just not sure that I need that kind of a camera. Okay, so the survivors, the stuff that I still use. This video is not sponsored, but I think 3 of the things I have been sent, and I'll put a little note on screen where that's applicable. Firstly, I'm going to talk about carrying your camera because I feel like pretty much every photographer out there is on a constant mission to find the right camera bag. Sure enough, I've gone through quite a few of them over the years. I currently have 3, which I don't think is too bad. The first one is the Shimoda Action X50, which I've shown and spoken about before. Given I'm not doing landscapes much anymore, that bag isn't getting anywhere near as much use. I do need a bag like that for trips though, I think, to get the kit in that I want to take, so that isn't going anywhere. The second one that I get much more use out of is this, which I've also shown before, and that's the PGY Tech 1 Go Lite 22 litres, which is more than big enough for what I need it to do. I really like it. Holds everything I need, bottle of water, camera stuff. It's got security features, it's got an AirTag compartment. It just does what I need it to do. It's also got these little sort of additions on the shoulder straps that means you can put a camera clip on it, like this PGY Tech Beetle, without it going behind the strap and digging into your shoulder. And that was a problem I had quite a lot with the Action X50 and my older Peak Design clamp, which sadly perished. Now, Peak Design also do really good bags, but they're twice as expensive pretty much. And I've had a Peak Design bag before that I found quite uncomfortable. This one, no such issue. My third bag is this Clever Supply sling bag, which I've also spoken about before. This is great just in for things in cities and stuff. But my main drawback with this, although it's small and comfortable, is that there isn't room for a water bottle in here. And I really like having a water bottle on me, which is why the backpack comes with me more than anything else. Just quickly on that clip that I showed you on there, the Beetle V2, I don't use it that much. Now the reason I don't use it very much is because I generally have a lighter camera that I put on a strap. If I'm using a bigger camera like my A7R5, then I don't like having it on a strap because it's too heavy, so I will use a clip. And given I've not used my A7R5 for a while, that's why I've not really used the clip. But the clip is really good, except for one thing. It's quite hard to get on and off these specially made anchor straps because of the way it fastens, so just watch out for that. As for straps, I use these, which are from a company called VKO, I think. I just bought them on Amazon. Links to everything are below. I've got a number of these because they are really cheap. They're only £13 each. I actually think K&F have recently brought one out that's even cheaper at about £10 and looks identical, but I've not used that one. I prefer rope straps to the kind of straps, if that's what you call them. I just find them more comfortable, so that's why I go for these, and they're cheap as well. And I've been using these kind of straps for at least a couple of years now, I think. I suppose the next section is probably holding your cameras, but I guess it's more mounting your cameras. And I should probably talk about my tripod, which is this Benro Tortoise 35C. I've had this for 3 years and it's great. I don't use it much for photography. That's not the kind of photography I do, but I do use it for all my video stuff. I have got a Benro Mammoth as well, but that doesn't really get much of a look in these days just because it's far too big for me to be bothered to carry around. I really trust Benro tripods though. I've been using them for, I don't know, 8-9 years maybe. Despite me not really using them for photography, that's always going to be with me in my kit. The next two are a bit niche, but worth mentioning. Firstly, I use a Pocket Go quite often for filming, and shout out to James actually for this because he suggested this to me. This is magnet, and it basically means that you can magnet it onto anything metal, obviously. So if you're wanting to film in somewhere like Manchester, like I did for the video I'm showing you now, you can just magnet it onto a fence post or a street light or something like that, and it just makes filming stuff so much easier. And I think you can get stuff like this for other cameras now. You can get really interesting mounting options for bigger cameras. I think PGY Tech do something called a Mantis Pod, which allows you to grip it onto things. There are just loads of options that aren't just tripods. The last thing in this section is even more niche, and it's an iFootage, can't remember what it's called, put the name on the screen, but basically it's a monopod with a big base, and that is what this camera goes on because I hated having a tripod in here taking up a lot of space. The next bit is called lived creativity, which is stuff I use all the time that improves my photography and helps with it, but isn't really a photography accessory. And the first one is notepads and pens. I love writing stuff down. I've got all sorts of notepads for making notes, writing down ideas, and I've got this lovely little sort of pencil case thing as well. There is a notepad that goes in that. Stuff like this is fine for me to spend a bit more money on because of the value I get from it. These tools are essential in my creative life. I'm writing stuff down every day. I'm journaling, which I've made videos about before. I'm planning, I'm writing scripts. I'm coming up with ideas, projects, anything like that, it always gets written down. So I've got nice pens. I mean, they're not ridiculous. It's not like a Mont Blanc or something like that. But I've got pens I enjoy using. I've got notepads I enjoy using because that just adds to the process for me. And I couldn't be without these tools for what I do. The other thing is this Canon Selfie, which I've been using for a few months now. This is a little printer that prints little prints. And I've been banging on for ages about printing your work. I've said it in a few videos recently, but just being able to do these little prints nice and easily just from your phone or something like that is a really cool way of bringing your work to life. Seeing prints like this is so much different from seeing them on a screen, putting them up around you, looking through them, showing to people. I really like this. I think this is probably one of my favourite things that I bought last year. It's so cool. However, it doesn't come with any ink or paper, which from a customer satisfaction point of view is pretty crap. It's a bit annoying to open it and not be able to use it, and it's not immediately obvious that that's something you need to be aware of. So hopefully now you are. Final section I couldn't think of a name for, so I'm just going to call it other things. Firstly, this travel pouch, which is absolutely essential, and inside it I've basically got everything I need for traveling. I've got spare wires, spare memory cards, spare filters, rolls of film, a little cleaning kit, a spare cloth, a spare shower cap, which is a great thing to put over your camera when it's raining. Everything in here I basically own 2 of, and I have one somewhere in my studio in a drawer just there, and the rest are in here. And the reason I've done that is because I spent so many years packing and unpacking a travel pouch every time I went away and every time I come back. It's just such a waste of time. Given the price of things like cloths and cables, I just decided to buy 2. One lives in here all the time, one lives in there all the time. So now whenever I go away, I just pick this up and I know everything is in it. I should probably quickly mention filters. The filters I use, I mentioned in the last video. I generally just use black diffusion filters for most of my photography. I also use a VND/CPL from Freewell, and I literally just use that for filming, just to darken down the exposure so that I can hit the right shutter speed and everything else for video. I do need some more polarizers because I lost my last one, and every time I go out to like a forest or something like that, I realise I need a polarizer, and I also have realised now, so I suppose I should write that down. I think every photographer needs a multi-tool. This is a Leatherman that I was bought quite a while ago. I assume this will last me for life because it performs as well now as it did when I was bought it. It has got blades in it though, so not exactly flight safe, which is why I've got this little one, which is a small rig one, which has got loads of hex keys and screwdriver things on it as well. You can stick that in a bag for travel. It just allows you to tighten up like tripod plates and tripod nuts and anything else sort of camera related. This small rig tool is a really good thing. Finally, I take this everywhere. It is my Anker power bank because, well, I can't be trusted always to remember to charge batteries or my phone or various other things. So having this is, it's my safety net. Except for cameras and lenses, that's basically what I use. I think the most important thing is to not get bogged down with any of this. Don't let the things that are supposed to support your photography actually distract you from doing it. If you're finding yourself thinking, I don't know whether to take this bag or this lens or this lens, or should I take my drone, should I use my drone? These are all distractions that we don't use. We only really get into that flow state when we make our best work, when we free ourselves from those distractions. I think all of us, me included, are kind of prone to making things more complicated than they need to be. It's fine to try different things out, different accessories out, but if they're not for you, don't be afraid to just get rid of them. Don't have that mental distraction of a drawer full of shit weighing you down. The one thing we do as photographers is evolve, so don't let the stuff that you've bought or done in the past kind of stop you from stepping into your future, I suppose. When you're looking to buy something, think to yourself, is this going to add to my creativity, or is it just going to steal attention away from the things that actually matter? If I had have bought that upgraded drone, I'd have likely been distracted by that, and missed out on the photographic opportunities, which are the things that are more important to me. I'm often told one of the biggest areas of difficulty people have in their photography is a lack of time. They want more time to concentrate on their photography. So if you're adding in a load of stuff that's stealing that time, then it is just making it more difficult. You need to find a way to make that time work as best for you as possible. And I think finally, if you are desperate to spend money, then the best things to spend money on are trips and experiences, whether they be holidays or workshops. I say photo books from photographers you admire so that you're consuming their photography as it's meant to be seen and not through a screen. And then finally, if you really want to, maybe think about picking up a camera that you will actually love, will want to use every day, and that will continue to inspire you to get out there and take photos.